So, Leon, when you look back at all of the things that you worked on as developments, what development are you the most proud?
Oh,
That-
the most
that could be-
proud?
That could be a building, or that could be a development you put together, or whatever.
Well, each subdivision, kind of stood on its own. I'm proud of each of them. One of the things that should have been more fun than it was naming the streets in these new subdivisions. That was not an easy process. And street names had to be approved by the city of Austin. There was one person on the city staff that was in charge of approving street names. He was very strict. He didn't want anything repeated that had been used not only in Austin, but in Travis County, in Williamson County, in Hayes County.
Oh, my.
And I remember one time, well, Kay and I, as we would travel around, we kept some paper in the glove compartment of the car, and we would look at street signs as we were driving through cities. And if we saw a street name that we thought was good, if I was driving, Kay would pull that out and write that street name down. So we kept a long list going. And one time I went into the city of Austin with a list of 100, I think it was 102 street names that I'd proposed, and I'd already checked to be sure they had not been used in our local area. Out of that list of 100, 2 were approved.
Oh, my. So did this staffer have his own suggestions then? If didn't
No,
take
he did
yours
not
out?
offer any suggestions.
You just have to go away and come back again.
That's
with
right.
Another set of ideas.
Make another appointment.
Huh.
That's why so many streets have more than one word in them, because they had to make some kind of a change in order to use them. So as you go further out, streets just keep growing in names.
There's one street name in the older part of Austin, Castle Hill, and I always liked that name.
Yeah.
I thought that was an intriguing name, and it was near the old military academy, known as the Castle, so that's why the street, I think, was named Castle Hill.
Okay.
And I kind of privately laughed because I felt like I put one over on this man at the city when he approved a street name, Chateau Hill.
Two of our most fabulous trips were to Turkey and to Egypt.
Okay.
It was just beyond amazing,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And the reason for that, the reason they were amazing?
Just so old, so full of history, so different from the way we live. And we knew we were going to like them. We just didn't realize we were going to like them as much as we did.
Well, we want to credit Luann Barrow
Yes.
with encouraging us to go
Right.
to Turkey.
Okay.
We know that she had been to Turkey at least twice, and we questioned her why she went to Turkey. Of all places in the world, why would she go to Turkey, and especially 2 times? And so she told us about all the wonderful sights in Turkey and the wonderful artwork there, and how much she enjoyed going over there and doing sketches and doing paintings. And she said, in fact, I'll tell you what, I'm going to invite you over to our house for dinner, and I'm going to fix you a typical Turkish dinner,
Oh, wow.
and I'm going to show you my photographs from Turkey. And we said, well, that would be wonderful. So she did. We had a wonderful meal. We were fascinated by the photographs that she had taken of various parts of Turkey, and we couldn't then wait to plan our trip to Turkey.
great.
So we went to Turkey in 1998. And what was kind of fun is that the Barrows flew over while we were still there in Istanbul, before we actually started to go by bus around, other parts of the country. Got there in time, and so we all went and had dinner together
Oh, my.
at an old cistern there in Istanbul that had been the cistern for the Topkapi Palace.
Oh, my goodness. So we were starting to talk about some things that St. Matthew's might not know about, and we're thinking maybe they're not about you, but maybe they're about your family. And so I know that Kay has an interesting story about her family.
You want me to tell it? Well, my mother was kidnapped. She was went to a post office, and when she came out, there was a young man waiting for her, and he wanted her car.
Oh, my goodness.
And so they took off. Mother said he was shaking so hard he could hardly hold the gun. but he didn't hurt her, and he let her out somewhere. I guess they got outside of Oklahoma City, and I forgot to ask her if she ever saw her car again.
I want to go back to your question about something that people at St. Matthew's probably don't know about me.
Yeah.
After my sophomore year at the University of Texas, I went with other youth, not necessarily from the University of Texas, but certainly some students from the University of Texas, on what today we would call a mission trip to Brazil. And we worked for 6 weeks. Actually, half the group were assigned to the city of Recife on the coast. And I was in the other group, which was assigned to Rio de Janeiro, which sounds like it would just be a wonderful vacation. And it was a wonderful experience, but that's because during the 6 weeks, our group lived in a school building that was vacant for the summer. And it was next to one of the, what we call favelas, one of the slums on top of the many hills there in Rio de Janeiro. And our project was to build a paved roadway through